Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the other two videos. If you haven't already checked them out, check them out. And in this one, we're going to do something a little different from health. We're going to step away from health, and with St. Patrick's Day around the corner, March, the end of this week, we're going to start with a series of very traditional Irish meals or desserts. And I'm going to do all different kinds of things, breads, pastries, all different things for St. Patrick's Day. It is my favorite day of the year, and let's get started with today's very, very traditional Irish soda bread. A lot of people make theirs in different ways, but this is the traditional basic way. I have made it countless times. It has always been everybody's favorite. So without any delay, let's get started. So first thing you're going to do, I have already sifted some of my dry ingredients 2 or 3 times already. You want to sift them about 3 or 4 times, ideally. It just makes your breads a lot more fluffier. So what I have already done is here I have 3 cups, just regular whole-purpose white flour. We're going to dump that in first. And now, like I said, that's already been sifted a couple of times, but we'll give this a nice little sift here and make this nice and fluffy, and you'll see the difference in your bread. When you do it this way and you sift it a few different times, you're going to definitely see the difference in your breads and in your scones, which I will do another video on next. Traditional Irish scones. With that, I usually use a different flour altogether, and I will sift it about 5 times. But here we do. So we have 3 cups white flour sifted into a bowl. Next, we're going to add 3 teaspoons of baking powder, not soda, baking powder. So we're adding our 3 teaspoons baking powder. Okay. Now we're going to add in 1 cup regular white sugar. Okay, get rid of all those little pebbles at the bottom there. Okay, and then we are going to add to that a teaspoon of kosher salt. That's it for our dry ingredients. Right now, just give us a little mix up. But what we're going to do next, and this is what stands this soda bread apart from all other soda breads you're going to have. This soda bread, to that we are going to add, not butter, but we are going to add lard. And this is going to make this bread so moist and so delicious. So, stuff does get a little messy on your hands. Don't worry about that. We're going to put in 1. We're going to put in 2. We will put in 3. Sorry about that. There's a little mix up with the camera. Didn't want to cooperate for a second there. But right now we are adding our 4th. 4 or so, doesn't have to be exact, tablespoons of lard. Now, my hands are clean. I'm the only one eating this, so I trusted myself, but make sure your hands are nice and clean and just give us a nice little rub through. You really want to incorporate, but you don't want to pinch too hard. Kind of pull up as you're doing it. Get a nice little pinch full, pull up, handful, lightly pull up. You're just incorporating all this lard into all the dry ingredients, but you don't want to pull too hard or push too hard or squeeze too hard, because then you're just going to form little balls. The lard will stick to the dough and it'll just get all messy and sticky. So just lightly lift up. And we're almost good to go here. Just a few minutes is all it takes for this step. You really just got to get this all mixed through. Unlike when you use, like, when you're cutting butter in and you want to look for small crumbs, they call them, like stuff that resembles small coarse crumbs. There really is just, you got to give it a feel, because the lard is actually going to incorporate with the dry ingredients more so. So this looks just about right now. So there we go with that. We have our lard mixed in. Now, the next step, the raisins. A lot of people just put in either raisins. What I put in is a mixture. I usually use like whatever I have lying around, whether it be sultanas, currants, raisins, a mixture of the three, a mixture of just whatever the two they have. But what I like to do with them is I put them in a bowl about an hour before I'm going to make my soda bread. And I pour Jameson all over them. And then I just give them a little soak in there. So these are nice and moist. Not only will it add to the flavor, it makes the raisins more plump. So it plumps up the raisins, as well as gives it a nice little flavor. It's a subtle flavor, not anybody's going to be able to recognize what it is if you're worried about that, but now you just break apart your raisins and give them a nice little toss in. And if little drips get in there from the whiskey, that's quite alright as well. They don't have to be perfectly dry, but we're almost good. I use about, in total, 2 cups worth of raisins, whether it be the raisins, the currants, the sultanas. I'll use 2 cups in total, so there we go. Give that a quick little mix through with your hands. Now that this is all nice and fluffy and incorporated in, it should resemble something like this so far at this stage. And I'll be right back. Okay, so I had to get a spoon to mix with, a mixing spoon here. So the next thing we're going to add to this is going to be 2 eggs. So we just, there's 1. Two eggs. I just want to make sure you break open the yolks a little bit. There we go. And now we're going to use 1.5 cups of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, you can substitute with regular milk, or you can even make your own buttermilk. It's just, I believe it's just 1 cup of regular milk with either a teaspoon or tablespoon. Google it first, because that will make a difference, of white vinegar. But you can make your own buttermilk if you don't have any on hand. I've done it before. I just don't remember the exact measurements. So now you add your milk in. And now you're just going to lightly fold this all up into a nice, lovely dough. Now, at this point, we're getting ready, just about to put it in the oven. I have the oven preheated. The oven is set at 350. It is going to cook at 350 for an hour. Some people at this point choose to add caraway seeds. If you want to throw in caraway seeds, I will usually throw in about 3 tablespoons myself of caraway seeds. I'm omitting them this time because I do believe my parents are going to be coming over for dinner later, and they don't like caraway seeds. So I will leave the caraway seeds out in this, but if you want to put the caraway seeds in, as some Irish soda breads do have caraway seeds, you would then put them in here now as well. Like I said, you could put it to taste. About 3 tablespoons will do this loaf very nice. But without caraway seeds, I think we're pretty much ready to go here. This is all nicely mixed together. So now we just take a little bit of spray. Okay. Give this pan a nice little coating. Alright. I like to take my fingers and just rub them gently along the walls. Make sure you spread the spray into the little corners and along the walls, because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to get a soda bread out that has stuck to the pan. Well, that goes for anything that you bake, for that matter. Now, you literally just take this and scoop your battered dough in. Now, after you scoop in all the dough, you're going to want to level out your batter nice and flat so that it bakes evenly. You could give it the old shake on the table test and get all air bubbles and air pockets from the inside out, and let it just settle in nice and level on the inside as well. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to make this nice and flat and level. Now what some people like to do, which is Irish tradition, after you get this nice and flat and level, is you're going to want to take a knife, a nice sharp knife, and you're going to want to put an X. You want to make sure you dip the tip of the knife enough into the batter, not just slightly cut, touch the surface. You're going to want to get it in there about half an inch or so. You want to put the knife in, and you're going to make a slit going one way and then the other way, forming an X across the top of your bread. Now, the reason behind that, the scientific reason behind that is that it helps the thicker portions in the middle bake more, because they're going to cut open so more heat can get exposed to the thicker, bigger portions of them. However, the Irish tradition says that they want to let the devil out. So if you want to let the devil out of your bread, you're going to have to put a nice little X down the middle of it. And there we go. One lovely loaf of Irish soda bread. I'm going to put it in the oven. It's going to take about an hour to cook, and then I will be right back to show you guys the results. Okay, so I'm back. About an hour's passed by, and I gotta tell you, this kitchen smells fantastic. All cleaned up and ready to sit down and enjoy a slice of some Irish soda bread. So let me just take this out of the oven so you can see it as I do when it comes out. Okay, I of course chose not to put the X down the center, just so you can see for yourself the final. See how beautiful that looks? I'll put this on here so I don't burn myself, but take a look at that. It looks fantastic, and it smells absolutely amazing. I guarantee you that'll be the best soda bread you will ever have on St. Patrick's Day this year. If you're asked to bring anything, or if you're hosting and you want to make something that'll impress everybody, I highly suggest you make this Irish soda bread. It is possibly the best out there, and it is by far the best I've ever had. And in my 43 years of being Irish, I've had countless soda breads. So take it from me. I'll leave all the ingredients in the description, and I hope you enjoy it. The best way to enjoy Irish soda bread, of course, is with a nice Guinness and Kerrygold Irish butter.